What's up, y'all? Marcus Anthony's Everyday People Podcast. I got Kendall on the boards, also known as Kendall Plemons. I just recently met him a few months ago. I did my first track over here. Loved the studio. It was a great vibe, and I just wanted to pick his brain a little bit. He's had some pretty cool accomplishments in his life. What were some things we were talking about? How'd you start?
So I started, I guess this is a long start, but elementary, started playing trumpet, started playing guitar, was in band, throughout school and stuff. And then in high school, I had a friend who started rapping. I didn't really know how records were put together, but at this time, this is when like Zaytoven and Gucci Mane were starting to put out content, which is, I'm sure at the time they didn't think of it as content,
Right.
but that's when I saw, Zaytoven like produce a track, and I was like, okay, like he's essentially building an incredible loop and then taking those infrastructures and breaking it down into a song. And so I kind of started to realize, okay, that's how a record can be put together, because in band, you don't learn that. You learn write the whole script, the whole symphony, and you play what you're told to play. But seeing that really kind of showed me, okay, like I kind of understand that. Like you just build and build and build. And I had a friend in high school that showed me Fruity Loops. And that was like it. I was like, okay, cool. I can understand this. And my friend that started rapping, I started producing for him. And it was kind of nice because I could always bring the live instrument elements to it to kind of enhance tracks. There's nothing better than real guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Especially whenever you're trying to do hip hop and stuff. It's like, the plugins only get you so far.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. He was already recording at a pretty popular studio out here in DFW called Session Works. So first track I ever produced for him, we went there. The owner and head engineer liked that I could play a lot of instruments.
Wow.
And so pretty much offered me a job like first day I ever met him.
Whoa.
Yeah, but I interned underneath him for probably 6 months or so, and he started letting me get clients. And it was nice because like I was really trying to produce. I wasn't the best beat maker by any means, but having someone in the room that made beats is still better than not, because artists are always looking for beats. And especially it's hard to get the files or the track outs. So it's like, even if my beats aren't the best, at least like I'm right there with the computer. I've got the files. Like, load it all up. And then he would take it to the next level. And so I just studied under him for years. And that same artist that I built with, he had moved to LA while I was still working at Session Works. He got a deal with Columbia. And so as soon as that happened, moved out there, lived with him.
Wow, Columbia Records?
Yeah. Through him, I worked with, Mike Will Made It, The Game, a bunch of others. Maxo Cream, actually, randomly. And I was Lil Xan's first engineer at the time, too. That was a crazy thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because...
What was that life like? Just give me a little glimpse of it.
Dude, LA's crazy because it's, honestly, everyone's just working.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not... It's hard because you got to find a way to, like, have sustainability and, like, afford to pay your rent and shit, because not everything's up front. Like, it's hard being... If you're just going to be an engineer out there, it's really challenging. Right. You're not going to really just have people just booking you all the time. But if you're there to work and make connections and you're willing to just be there, then it's the place to be.
Right.
But, his deal wasn't really the best deal. And there's a lot of personal stuff going on. So I moved back to Texas.
How long did you do that for?
My timelines are always so foggy. But I would say... So I worked at Session Works probably starting at like 2012. And then or 2013, and then I moved to LA in 2016 or 2017.
Right.
And then I moved back here, I want to say 2018.
Right.
And that's when I found the Recordium, which was EMP's main studio at the time. And I started working at the Recordium under an engineer named Tyser, who was another person that I met that just kind of like took me to another level. You meet people and you think you know how a record's put together, and then you see someone doing this extra stuff.
Oh, for sure.
That's just like, oh, wow, like that is what can take a record over the edge. Like I knew how to coach an artist to be the best they could be, and like I knew how to, obviously put auto-tune and key and all this and that, but he was the one that showed me Melodyne and how like, hey, you can manually pitch correct people's stuff, or you can manually time align people's stuff. Like he really showed me kind of like the ins and outs of like the real blood and sweat that you don't see behind a polished record.
Right.
You know, everyone thinks it's a plug-in or something, and it's like, no, it's people going in there with precision Edward Scissorhands and
and the little work that I've been fortunate enough to get to see you work on and stuff. I think you're an absolute wizard with it. And so if anybody's out there looking for a studio in Fort Worth area, Kendall. It's called Sound Exclusive Studios.
Sounds exclusive.
And Kendall on the boards.
Yes.
Yeah, man, y'all got to come check it out.
Come check us out.
You said you were in a band for a little while?
Yeah, a band with the same artist that was rapping. We were called Turtleneck Soup. You probably can't find any of our music out there.
Hell yeah, bro.
If anyone's really interested, my mentor from Session Works, Jeff Mount, he would love to send you those records because he's threatened to just put them out a million times now because we never put any of the stuff out. But we played some shows and did some cool stuff, and it was, really fun. Like, I love playing in a band, especially when you're working with other talented musicians. It seems to always push you to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing in the studio type.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard, if you're around whack-ass people, you're probably going to be the next whack one, right? But if you are with people that are going to hold you to a higher standard, you're going to level up.
Progress, for sure. How long did you do the little band thing for?
We probably had that going for about like a year and a half.
You did it like local shows?
Yeah, some stuff like that. And then we were also doing it while we were working on his rap stuff.
Right.
So it was just kind of like a fun thing. I mean, we just wrote records all the time.
Yeah, I try to picture it in my head, and I picture you like you being in the studio working with an artist, and then you also be an artist kind of in the studio working on y'all's music, then performing it. Then I imagine watching your person you were producing perform some of his songs or be there or see some of it.
Yeah, we would do like live renditions of more of like the hip hop stuff we'd done. That was fun. I mean, it was, I don't really know, I guess, how to explain it, but it was a very interesting time. Like, and it was just the fact that we lived together. So we technically lived together in like an abandoned house.
Hey.
So that's the crazy thing in Mansfield. So our friend, his dad had passed and still owed mortgage on this home, but they kept fucking up the mortgage paperwork, which apparently, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but like apparently every time they fuck up the paperwork, they have to go back and redo all the paperwork, which is like a long ass process.
Right.
So they fucked up so many times that he ended up getting squatter's rights and like owning this beautiful home in Mansfield. Wow. Man, we were living there, dude. We all had window units because we couldn't really run the actual AC.
Heck yeah.
But we would make music every day, man. We would just write and produce. And so like, it got to a point where it's like you can't always write with like a direction in mind, you know? So we would just start writing, and if it turned into a rock song, that's what it did. If it turned into a rap song, that's what it was. Like, we didn't really kind of like pigeonholed it.
Really no rhyme or reason, just out there rhyming. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And putting music together. And, very amateurly, like...
Oh, yeah.
When I started, man, there wasn't a lot of resources online like there is now. Like, if you were to start making beats right now, it'd be like the best time.
Yeah, right now,
Yeah, because there's amazing drum kits online. It's easy to get plugins, all that. It was not that way at all. Like, I didn't have any plugins, so I was like started off sampling records that I probably had no business sampling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I know that route, man.
Yeah, and it wasn't my best work, but I will say it was my most creative, just because I had no like rules of what music was supposed to be.
I love that. Yeah,
and that was a lot of fun.
No, yeah, because that's one thing that we talk is, I have another artist that I've been making music here with recently. And that's one thing that we kind of talk as too, because where we live, it's kind of not really a real hard rap area. Like it's more, I think country is like more so where we are stationed at. And so we also want to we also talked about, trying to branch out and find ways to intertwine country into our rap without actually going straight country and rap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I like how a lot of sometimes they mix like folk with rock and they make kind of a country song, like country rap song
absolutely.
in a way. And so I like experimenting with things like that. And that's me too. Like I really don't know the structure of a song, the actual structure of a song.
And sometimes that's a good thing. Like, it depends on what the agenda is, If you're there and you really are like, okay, I really want to make a single, then it's good to have someone that has experience with like a pop background that can be like, hey, this is where a typical chorus would go, a bridge, a pre-hook, a verse, whatever. But man, like sometimes creating within those limits can really kind of damper the situation. I always just advise people to write, and I like, as an engineer, what I've started considering myself is almost like a book editor. You know, people will write a book, they tell their story, and they tell it well, but they, you know, they're always the best about grammar or,
Yeah.
you know, just kind of wording things
Yeah,
themselves.
exactly.
However, and it just takes that extra person to kind of be like, hey, it'd be a little bit better if it was said like this.
That's a great way to put it, man.
Yeah, and I think that's really kind of what engineering and producing really is at the key of the heart is like, you know, I still sometimes will make music just from scratch, but I really prefer for someone to come with me with like an idea.
Right.
And we can build from there. Cause
Right.
that way
You get artists in here and they come here with absolutely nothing and y'all build a beat, y'all make
sometimes,
the songs.
yeah. Or they'll have like,
About how long does that process usually take usually sometimes?
It depends on the type of record. If we're talking a pop record, it might be 10 different sessions of, you know, 3 hours a piece or whatever. If it's a rap record, it might be, you know, one session of like, hey, I've got this hook, I've got this tempo, like, let's, you know, we can knock that out.
That's cool, man.
It just depends. It really depends. I mean, I have records that I've spent probably 15 hours mixing alone. Yeah. And I have records that have done better than that I spent 30 minutes mixing. So it's just hard to tell, you know?
That's crazy, man. Yeah. What is your favorite genre of music? Your favorite genre of music?
I mean, it's kind of hard to classify genre, but I would say I like really well-produced music. I don't like... I'm not going to say I don't like live elements and live things. I like the live feeling, but I like things to be very intentional and in pocket. But I would say like R&B, hip-hop, pop, dark type of sounding elements, something I kind of lean towards.
That's cool.
That seems to be kind of where my writing style and production style kind of fits in.
That's cool.
Which is crazy. You'd think I'm like some like really like emotional, like sad person, and I'm typically not at all. But like I don't know why. I really like kind of sadder music.
But basing off your music, your playlist,
yeah.
I feel that. Like I haven't listened to them a lot, but I guess like along the lines of like NF.
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But okay, let's just throw a broad example like The Weeknd or Lana Del Rey or like Sabrina Claudio or like.
Those are all good.
Yeah, no, great. Like that's kind of like what I personally strive for when I'm working on music. But it's crazy. When I moved back to Texas, man, somehow I became like the trap god. Yeah. You know, so now I'm doing all the big trap records, man.
Hell yeah.
Shout out my boy Lil Tuzi.
Hey, Lil Tuzi. Oh, really?
Yeah, I do all of his stuff. So.
Hey, shout out Lil Tuzi. Yeah. I follow him a little bit on social media.
Hell yeah.
He makes some moves out here.
Yeah. And then I was developing an artist with the Nigerian label for a while. We got to do some cool stuff. I work on a lot of Afrobeat music, and I really enjoy that too. Like, I like melody.
Yeah, I do too, but I don't
like
have
hard drums. I like hard drums. I like a fire ass melody.
Yeah,
that's really it. You get me with those two things, and I'm like,
but really, at that point, where do you go wrong? You know?
Exactly. Dude, you got the drums hitting, the melody's infectious. It's like, okay,
gosh, I would give my testicles to be able to sing, man.
Yeah,
I really would.
Me too.
Let me ask you this: what is your? I guess I know this question could probably be hard, but what would you say is probably your best experience as a producer in the studio so far?
Oh man. Just kind of whenever you work with an artist so much that you get to the point where you don't barely have to communicate. And that's how it was with my first artist. That's how it is with a lot of the artists I work now, especially like Lil Tuzi. We don't have to say, "Oh, do it again." I'm already gonna know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and he's already gonna know that I know
right there.
Yeah, so it's just like there's little conversation to be had. You know, sometimes it'll be like, "Oh, it'd be better if you said it like this or that," or he'd be like, "Oh, what if you did this and that?" You know, and it's just kind of collaborative effort. But like, we know that each other has their job handled, and so it just really frees up a lot of the like stress of like a session of like, "Oh, we have to get this done in this way, in this form." Like, that's always going to be handled. So we get to just
And that's fun. But
Great.
honestly, you know, from my point as a new artist coming in here before my first session and stuff like that, you do match well pretty good already like that. You know, there was a lot of little bit of me being like, oh, can you stop there? Can you run it back? Can you cut that? You're already kind of there. So I like how you catch up to an artist like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because that goes a long way for the artist. Makes you feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
You know, makes it feel like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing, so I can do what I'm doing.
Exactly. And that's what I try and provide for everyone. You know, unfortunately, you can't always appease everybody, but I try my best to.
Yeah,
you know?
I think you do a hell of a job, man. Like I said again, if y'all missed it before, come check out
Clowns Exclusive.
Clowns Exclusive Studio with Kendall on the boards.
Yes,
yeah. My bad for missing up twice. Let me ask you this then: what would you think would be your worst experience in the studio so far?
Man, I think a lot of people try to come in here and regurgitate things they see online without a full understanding. You know, they see, oh, this is how an engineer's treated, you know, by this rapper. And it's like, no, dude, like, you don't understand. That engineer maybe have really been fucking up, or that artist may be really pretentious, or both. You know,
like they come in here on a rude sense?
Oh,
shit?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. No, dude, I've had to kick people out all the fucking time. I've almost had to fucking...
Whoa, like give me an instance real fast.
I mean, worked with a dude the other day who was supposed to be a manager.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he was getting on the mic with like his little time left. And he was telling me, put the auto-tune on my voice. Put auto-tune on him, put it in key, and he was just like, no, that's not auto-tune. Like, what do you mean, bro? And he was like, if I had $1,000, I bet you make it sound better right now. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, and that's like, what the fuck is that gonna do?
Yeah, let me just put your $1,000 in the auto-tune machine real fast.
Yeah, dude, exactly. That type of shit. Just not having understanding. And honestly, I think what it was is that
I could imagine.
He tried to rap, and he had potential artists that he was trying to manage, and I think he got embarrassed. And you know, some people just can't handle
embarrassment and
or
people looking at you like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the easiest person to take it out on is the person you're paying, right?
Yeah, of course,
so
right.
It's like,
the new guy in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
hey, I know I told him my car, and I know you're trying to fix it, but like...
Right, yeah. Right. Let me tell you how to do it real fast. You know?
Or tell me that it should be done at this rate and this speed, and it's like, hey, dude, I'm not the one that totaled your car, bro. Like, you're the one that did that. So
exactly.
But
man.
I mean, at the same time, man, I really try my best to help everyone because, you know, and realize that expectations are different. I think the thing that gets hard sometimes is my expectations for myself are very high.
Yeah.
And I have to kind of realize sometimes that people aren't on the same wavelength as I'm on as far as like what I consider like amazing.
Right.
But you know, at the same time, hey, if you consider what we do quick, amazing, and you enjoy it, then express that, and that's easy because then it alleviates the stress for me of knowing like, oh, I'm sitting here focused on, oh, I could take out this breath, I could take out this, I could do, like all these things that probably 90% of people aren't listening to or hearing.
Yeah.
You know, I get super fixated.
Yeah, I think that goes a long way though, because I wish I was sometimes a person who was more, you know, minuscule about things, you know. I don't spend enough time on things like that. I have patience, but not to that level. The person like you who will go the extra mile to make sure it sounds, even taking the breaths out and everything. To me, I'm like, fuck it, leave them all in there. You know what I'm saying?
But, oh no, here's the thing. I'll take them out. I'll take some out. I'll turn some just down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I might use one that sounds like, oh, this is the best breath in the song, and I'm gonna use that for like majority of the breaths. Yeah. I like putting that type of attention to detail, and it's so crazy because I started out as a producer. And then producing led me to being a recording engineer. I was never the best mixing engineer. And then now, being in it so long, I kind of eventually see myself only mixing and producing. You know, not that I don't like recording. It's just sometimes it can be tedious and also like it just depends. Right. You know, it depends.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like the rush of a recording. How it can be rushed so much sometimes. Yeah. That can, as I get older, man, like it's harder to deal with more sessions in a day than just one or two. Like, you know, you're dealing with different vibes, different tempos, different energies, and it kind of can become a lot. I think the recording industry is a young man's game, and I'm not saying I'm old, but you know, I'm not getting any younger. So.
For whatever it's worth, Kendall, I appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
I thank you
for
sure, man. For sure. I appreciate what you do, and I like watching what you do. And I encourage people to come out. You want a good studio in Fort Worth? I make the drive. y'all come out here and y'all love y'all experience for sure.
Absolutely.
So
We'll have
don't
fun.
forget, this is Kendall. Come over here, Kendall on the boards at Sound Exclusive Studios.
Yes.
I fucked it up twice, but I got it right the third time.
That's all
This
that
is
matters.
Marcus
Third time's the
Anthony's.
charm.
Yep, Marcus Anthony's Everyday People podcast. We love y'all. We thank y'all, and we'll see y'all later.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, man. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks, dude.